Hello, everybody. I'm going to talk about Sammy Gravano. He just did his fourth season, and his fourth one of the year of the new season. And his shows in season four are very interesting because he's talking about things that aren't as much mafia. It's not. It's about outside things. And one of the things that he talked about today was an issue that he had with Donald Trump. And to give you an idea, people say, oh, the mob can do things, they can get to people, but sometimes you can't get to people, even if you want to threaten them. And I'm going to explain to you why. I'm going to play a little 3 to 4 minute clip of Sammy Gravano's show, what he said today. I'm under fair use, and I will put it down there, but I want to talk to you why I wanted to play this and talk about the mafia and their dealings with Donald Trump. And we're talking about the 80s and 90s, 80s basically, when Trump was very powerful at the same time and the mob was very powerful. So let's play Sammy, and then I'm going to get back to the players and tell you exactly what they were doing. And you guys can tell me what you think. Okay, so we'll start this. And we're going to talk. This is the part where Sammy's talking about trying to talk to Trump to kind of threaten him. And here we go.
Steve Wynn sent you down here. No, Sammy. You're doing it on your own? You think you're talking to a jerk off? You came here on your own to talk to me about this.
To give you an idea, Steve Wynn was competing with Donald Trump, and they both went to Atlantic City, and they both opened up casinos. And what happened is Donald Trump was in big trouble right away because he had a helicopter with his top executives that were helping him build his casinos. And the helicopter crashed, and all his top executives died. So right away, he went from having his casinos with top-notch guys to having nobody to run his casinos. And this really affected him. He lost his casinos.
What if I have dirt? How much will you give me? I want a little piece of the casino.
So Steve Wynn is trying to get dirt on Donald Trump because he's a competitor in that area of Atlantic City. And so he's going to Sammy and saying, I want dirt on Trump. Can you get dirt and give it to me? And this is what Sammy's talking about now. And most of you people know who Steve Wynn is. I'll show you a picture in a minute.
You're going to knock out a multi-million-dollar fucking casino. Could I get a big job? Could I get something? Oh, yeah, there's a lot of good things that could happen for you. Does it matter if I tell the truth or lie? Sammy, you're pushing us. I ain't pushing shit. You came down here to talk to me about going after Trump. You want me to go after Trump so you could hurt him and Steve Wynn could benefit. And I could benefit. I just don't want to play fucking word games. We don't look at it exactly that way. Well, I don't know nothing about Trump. I know he's a billionaire. I know he's got casinos. He's a builder. That's all I really know about him as far as his casinos. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. I don't give a shit what he's doing. So, a couple of times, people came to me about Trump. And one was funny. I don't feel like bringing it up right now. I don't feel like I'm in the funny mood, but
I love the way he said that. He says that he doesn't feel like talking about something funny because he's in a funny mood, which means he's in a bad mood.
That's something with Trump. And I tried everything to get into it. My guys, union guys who were working with me, not my crew, my guys who were working with me, Sammy, we could push on him a little harder. We could. And we could all go to jail. We're working with a ton of different people. Fuck him. Let's stay with doing what we're doing. We tried a little bit, no response, nothing good. If we really push now, all those ex-agents sitting up there, they're going to know. I don't know what they're going to do, but it ain't going to be good. I'm not that interested. Let's go to somebody else.
Our thing with Sammy the Bull.
Okay, so I'll just explain this a little bit more. Okay, if you watch the podcast and if you watch that show, you'll it's parts I'm going to talk about. I can't play that much time of that video, but I wanted to give you an idea. So, Steve, this is Steve Wynn right here. And Steve Wynn is one of the most powerful men in Las Vegas. He doesn't look this good anymore. He's plastic now. He looks absolutely ridiculous. And he's got to be pushing 80, 85 years old. So he wanted to destroy Trump because he wanted to be the only one in Vegas. I'm not Vegas, I'm sorry, in Atlantic City. And and of course, you know who this is. This is Donald Trump. Okay. And the mob was trying to get near Trump. They wanted to basically threaten him. They wanted to threaten him with strikes and stuff. They were going to put the workers on strikes, raise the price of products that he's getting. And so what Donald Trump did was totally ignore him, never answered him. And that's one thing, you know, and this is what Sammy Gravano says. His exact words was, Trump was one tough son of a bitch. And that's why when he went to Washington and became president, he dealt with the mob in New York City. He dealt with some serious guys. You think that he was scared of politicians in Washington, D.C., if he's dealing with these guys where he's a builder and he has to deal with the mob, he has to deal with their union and stuff? But see, here's what Trump did to get on top of the mob. He put ex-cops as bodyguards, hired top-notch bodyguards. One of his bodyguards' names was Matthew Calamari, and this is this gentleman right here. And he was Trump hired him because he was at the U.S. Open at Shea Stadium at that time. That's when they used to play it there in the stadium over there, the U.S. Open. And he seen Calamari, the way that he handled crowds and stuff and how he protected the players. Trump was impressed, so he hired him to work his personal security in the 80s. And eventually he became one of Donald Trump's chief executives. So that was one of his bodyguards. And his other bodyguard, and you may have seen this guy, his name was Schilling, and he was a retired NYP detective, and he was head of security. And he was in charge of, and matter of fact, when Trump became president, for the first 2 years, he stayed on, and Trump used him over most of the Secret Service. But this guy was an NYPD detective and had a lot of connections with the FBI and everything. So Trump had these people around him that were very powerful. And so the mob was afraid to mess with him because of the people around him. And for his security, he had retired FBI agents. And so it's like Sammy Gravano says, we couldn't get near this guy. So they wanted to threaten him and do all these things with him to get him to basically shut down one of his casinos. It didn't work. Okay, eventually, when the dollar crashed and everything, a lot of the casinos went belly up in Atlantic City. He built some big ones, and they all went belly up because, one, he lost most of his main people in the helicopter crash. And then on top of that, he built too quick. And when the economy crashed, everything went crashing down there. So, and this is where, you know, people say, oh, the mob can get to anybody. But Sammy's actually talking about what makes sense. They were afraid of Donald Trump. Not because they were physically afraid of him or anything, because they were afraid because of his security and who he knew. They can't just go after a guy that powerful and whack him or beat him up or something, because then you're going to get his security team on you. You're going to get the people that they know, and they're going to come down on who's ever messing with them. And Sammy was smart enough to realize this. And when Trump was ignoring him, Sammy was smart enough to say, whoa, 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 let's stay away from this guy. This guy's trouble. Let's go fuck with somebody else. So that's pretty much it. You know, people like to put in their head the power of the mob and how powerful they are and stuff. But at the same time, they got to realize not to mess with certain people. And Donald Trump was one of those people. And this has nothing to do with politics. This has nothing to do with who you are, what you feel about Donald Trump or anything. This has to do with people that are rich in general, people that are that rich. And in the 80s, you had a rash of kidnappings going on. You had, late 70s, early 80s, you had people like Patty Hearst being kidnapped. You had Seagram 7, one of their people being kidnapped, and one of their relatives. There was just a bunch of people from famous families being kidnapped. So these people needed extra security around them, and they hired really good security. And the mafia couldn't get near them, even if they wanted to. And if they did get near them, and if they were going to do something, it would end up very bloody. It would be all over the news, and all hell would come down. It would be a stupid move. And, you know, the mob, they try to stay away from that stuff, messing with these guys that were very powerful. And I just wanted to mention that story because it's a very interesting story. You know, if you think it's interesting too, because Sammy Gravano's saying that this guy was a tough son of a bitch. You know, he wasn't no wussy like people want to make him in. You know, it's obvious he's a tough guy. He was in Washington. He was the president. These senators and Congress people, they did everything they could to destroy him. The House of Representatives did, and then the Senate. But they didn't. Eventually, he lost in a questionable election, is what it came down to. And that's how they got rid of him. And you see when they go after him that he's still very hard to get to even to this day, because he's a tough guy and he's dealt with guys like Sammy Gravano and the mob. So why would he be scared of these guys, these other people? Okay, well, I want to get into another thing too. And this is very, just so you do know, and casino owner Wynn attempted to take down his competitor Trump with the help of organized crime, and it didn't work. Gravano attempted to intimidate Trump with threats of strikes and slowing down mob control stuff. It didn't work. Sammy said that Trump was one tough son of a bitch. We couldn't get near him even if we wanted to. And now let's talk about Sammy Gravano's show. Now, people thought he was going to start growing. When the new season started, he was at 430 something thousand. He's up to 475,000 now. So he's basically 25,000 short of 500,000. The average Sammy Gravano video right now is getting 433,000 views. And I just wanted you to see that, because that show that he was on, the last Gangster, it looks like it's really benefited him. And now that he's going with these shows, these type of shows, and he's spreading out. He's not just doing mafia content now. He's doing content about whether it's political content. He's done a couple of those, and he's just doing different type of content. So maybe it's going to work. And once again, some people, they think he's a rat. I'm not here praising Sammy Gravano. I'm telling you what's going on. Whether you like it or not, I can't control what the truth is. Okay, another thing. I got my, you guys know that I didn't run my Cash App for a long time. But right now, my website, I'm basically paying for my website. I have a great guy that's doing my blogs and stuff. And if people want to donate to help toward that, that's my Cash App underneath that's running. And, but only do it if you can afford to do it. It's not like I am starving or need the money, but it would help me save my own personal money if people can help me with my website for that and for the person that's helping me. And he's done a wonderful job helping me, and he writes all my blogs. That's what he does. There's no way I could do what I do here, entertain, run my website, which I'm doing, and do the blogs. It would be impossible. The blogs are just more entertainment that I want to offer people. And that's what I do. And if you guys want to see this, okay, let's see. Mobtubers.com/blog. That's where you can go read. Right now, our library is about 20 different gangsters. Some of the gangsters you might recognize, and others you won't recognize their names. But they all were part of organized crime, mostly in the New York area and the 5 borough area. Every once in a while, we'll do a gangster that's not in, like we did one that was in Texas. But, just go take a look and you'll see who that was. Okay, so with that, I'd also like to say, if you have not subscribed to my channel, if you can subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. If you can hit the like button or the reminder, I would appreciate that too. I just wanted to make this a short show. I'll probably not drop this until tomorrow. But thanks everybody for everything that's been done on this show and all the help that I've been getting, and the people that come in and have made my show not like the Paul, like Logan Paul or that type of level, but I'm happy with the level I'm at. I'm going to get to 4,000 subs pretty soon. Okay, and I got an interview coming up with Gianni Russo, and that's going to be within the next week. Right now, he's waiting for the new version of The Godfather to come out. And as everybody knows, that he played, I believe it was Paulie in The Godfather. He was Talia Shire's husband, and he had a major role in the first Godfather, movie. So I'm really looking forward to seeing here. And some people say he tells some tall tales. So we're going to come here and see what kind of tall tales he tells us. But the guy's a fascinating guy. He was on Vlad, has a couple million views. And so that we know. And also I'll be doing a debate coming up, and I'll cover more of that when all the advertising comes out on the debate. But thank you to everybody so much, and I appreciate everything. Take care, people.